Here, we share meaningful moments and life lessons that inspire inner calm. Welcome to Stories of Satisfaction.
For weeks, a team of 18 highly trained doctors worked around the clock inside a private medical wing, trying to save the life of a billionaire's elderly mother. Despite all the advanced technology, non-stop testing, and every possible treatment, her condition kept getting worse without explanation. Nothing made sense, until one quiet and observant caregiver who had been working in the background noticed something strange. What she saw completely changed everything. She caught the billionaire's glamorous fiancé doing something behind the doctors' backs, something no one expected. And it wasn't part of any medical plan. What happened next revealed the shocking truth that no one else had seen coming. Not the doctors, not the billionaire, not even the patient's own family. It turns out the real reason for the woman's mysterious illness had nothing to do with her age or her health. It had everything to do with what was secretly added to her medicine tray and who was behind it. Before we continue with this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Oh, and don't forget to comment below where you're watching us from. We love to know that. In the private medical wing, inside a large, luxurious house, a team of 18 medical specialists work in shifts to care for Margaret Whitmore, a 74-year-old woman. She is the mother of Richard Whitmore, a billionaire businessman who has made sure that his mother receives the best treatment possible. Margaret's condition is serious, and many machines are connected to her to monitor her vital signs. The heart monitors show that she has irregular heartbeats that come and go. Doctors also adjust her oxygen supply regularly, trying to help her breathe better. Margaret is not fully aware of her surroundings. She has moments where she seems confused and lost. Her hands shake a lot, and her skin looks very pale. Her blood pressure drops often and suddenly, which makes her even more unstable. The medical team runs multiple tests to find the cause, but they do not see signs of infection, stroke, or any clear organ failure. Every treatment plan tried so far has failed to bring steady results. Richard Whitmore stays close to his mother during this entire process. He does not leave the residence and remains available to give permission for more tests and to call in new doctors. He wants to make sure every option is explored. Margaret's condition continues to puzzle everyone involved. The doctors are using different clinical procedures, but none of them seem to work consistently. Every time one treatment is started, they hope for improvement, but soon they realize it doesn't help much or at all. This leads them to quickly stop that method and try something else, but they get the same result. The changes in her condition are unpredictable. Sometimes she seems a little better, then suddenly worse again. The doctors are under pressure to find out what is wrong, especially with Richard watching everything so closely. His presence adds urgency, as he is used to getting answers and solutions quickly in the business world. Inside the medical wing, near the wall where the medications are stored, there is a counter where nurses and staff organize items. On that counter, mixed in with Margaret's daily vitamins and other pills, there is one particular bottle that stands out. It is a small amber bottle, the kind used for many medical substances, but this one is strange because it does not have any label from the hospital. All the hospital medications have tags with barcodes and patient information. This bottle has none of that. It sits quietly among the other items and does not seem to belong. No one has picked it up or moved it yet. It remains there while the doctors and nurses go back and forth, focused on Margaret's vital signs and test results. The bottle does not draw their attention, but it has not gone completely unnoticed either. Elena Brooks is the private caregiver assigned to help Margaret with her daily needs. She is not a nurse, but she has worked in this household for a long time and knows Margaret's routine very well. Elena is the one who helps organize the trays with food, pills, and other supplies throughout the day. As she performs her tasks, she notices the unlabeled bottle on the counter. She does not touch it, but her eyes rest on it for a moment. She keeps working, placing things where they belong, and recording the times when medications were given. Her face shows no emotion, and she does not say anything about what she saw. Elena is used to keeping quiet and staying in the background. She follows the schedule and completes her work without interfering in the decisions made by the doctors or by Richard. But she seems aware of the details around her, including things others may not notice right away. The situation inside the medical wing remains tense. Everyone is looking for answers, but nothing makes sense so far. Margaret's symptoms, her mental confusion, shaking hands, pale skin, and low blood pressure do not match a single clear diagnosis. The lack of infection, stroke, or organ failure on the lab results only adds more questions. Some treatments seem to work for a few hours, but then her condition slips back again. The doctors are running out of ideas, and Richard continues to push for more actions to be taken. He calls more specialists, hoping that someone will finally figure out the cause. Still, the mysterious bottle stays in place, unnoticed by the medical team, but not by Elena. It is unclear what role it plays, if any, but its presence adds a silent mystery to the already confusing situation. Time passes, and Margaret's condition does not show lasting improvement. She remains weak and disconnected. The doctors continue rotating through their shifts, trying new tests and treatments, while Richard stays nearby, talking to them and checking updates. The machines keep beeping in the background, tracking her heart rate and oxygen levels. Everyone involved is doing their best, but the results remain the same. The unknown element, whether it's something in her environment, her medications, or something else entirely, has not been identified. Meanwhile, Elena continues her work quietly. She follows the routine, preparing trays, giving assistance, and noting times. Her eyes occasionally glance toward the small amber bottle, still sitting silently by the medications. Nothing about it has changed, and still, no one else seems to notice. The mystery remains, quietly waiting to be discovered. Elena Brooks has been working as Margaret Whitmore's caregiver for almost a year. During this time, she has become very familiar with the routine inside the house, especially within the medical area where Margaret stays. Elena does not live far away. She has her own space within the property, in a section meant for staff members. She spends most of her day near Margaret, making sure she gets the right medications at the right time and helping with her meals. Elena also works closely with the in-house medical team. She helps organize things, keeps track of medication schedules, and gives general support to the doctors and nurses. Her role is important, even if it doesn't involve making medical decisions. She knows where things are kept, how procedures work, and what the daily routine should look like. Over time, she has gained experience and become someone who notices details. She often sees things others don't, and even though she doesn't always speak up, she pays close attention to everything around her. Inside the estate, not everyone has free access to the entire property. The areas used by service staff are separate from the main family living spaces. Cameras monitor these areas, and security guards control who goes where. This means Elena's movements, along with the rest of the staff, are observed. The system ensures that only certain people can enter specific parts of the house, especially the private medical wing where Margaret stays. Elena has learned how to move through these areas without causing problems or drawing attention. She has become familiar with the system and knows when and where she is allowed to be. Over time, she has also learned when the medical team changes shifts and which doctors are scheduled at what times. These small pieces of knowledge help her manage her work better and avoid mistakes. Even under close watch, Elena has found a way to keep doing her job without interruptions, and she always sticks to her responsibilities without going beyond what is expected of her. Since Richard Whitmore got engaged to Victoria Hale, the way the household works has changed. Before, decisions were more divided between Richard and the senior staff. Now, Victoria has taken more control over domestic matters. she makes the final choices about routines, supplies, and how certain tasks should be done. This includes the way Margaret's care is organized. Victoria gives instructions about changes in meal times, medication schedules, and how the rooms should be prepared. The staff now receives updates and new orders from her more often than from Richard. Eleanor has had to adjust to this new dynamic. Although she continues with her tasks, she now follows changes introduced by Victoria, even when they seem sudden or unusual. Elena does not question the new rules out loud, but she observes everything. She understands how things worked before, and she compares them quietly to how things are now. Even though she doesn't interfere, she remembers the differences and keeps them in mind as she works. Over the months, Elena has learned a lot about the medical system used in the house. She knows how the medication cabinets are organized and where each type of pill or supplement is kept. She also knows how to read and fill out the clinical logs, where information about Margaret's condition is recorded. These records are updated regularly, with notes about blood pressure, heart rate, temperature, and other important details. Elena helps with these records by writing down the times medication is given and when meals are served. She does everything carefully and by the book. Still, she has started to notice patterns that don't seem right. Some of Margaret's sudden drops in blood pressure or changes in alertness seem to happen after she takes certain supplements. These particular items are not part of the original routine. Elena remembers that they were first introduced by Victoria not long ago. Even though the medical team hasn't said anything about it, Elena has started paying close attention to when these reactions occur. In recent weeks, Elena has made her own notes about these sudden changes in Margaret's condition. She does not change the official medical records, but she keeps track of what she sees. She marks down the exact times when Victoria brings new supplements to be added to Margaret's tray. Then not long after those moments, she sees signs like a sharp drop in blood pressure, stronger hand tremors, or longer episodes of confusion. Elena finds it strange that these effects always follow the same pattern, yet no one has officially connected them to the supplements. The doctors continue to focus on other causes. They run tests, check the machines, and adjust treatments, but they don't seem to notice the link. Elena, however, is almost certain something is wrong. She doesn't say anything to the medical team, maybe because she doesn't have proof. But inside, she knows that the timing is too exact to be a coincidence. So she keeps watching, recording, and waiting for a moment when someone might finally see the same thing. Even though Eleanor is not a doctor, her daily experience gives her insights that others may miss. She is the one who is closest to Margaret for most of the day. She is there during the quiet hours, during meals, and in between the doctor's visits. That means she sees things in real time that may not be visible on test results or machine readouts. While the doctors look at charts and lab reports, Elena sees the direct effects. Her observations have become more detailed. She now watches every time Victoria enters the room with new pills, noting the exact order in which things happen. Elena continues to write in her private notes, even though she doesn't know what to do with them yet. The medical team still doesn't mention any connection between the supplements and Margaret's condition. Everything remains the same on the surface. But Elena keeps paying attention. She doesn't say anything, doesn't take action, but she is aware of more than anyone realizes. The question now is whether someone else will notice before it's too late. At the beginning of the week, Elena notices something unusual happening at the side entrance of the large house. This area is normally quiet and used only for specific deliveries or by staff members. However, this time, Victoria Hale is there in person, waiting. Eleanor sees a delivery person hand Victoria a package directly, without passing through the usual staff process. The bag is from a private compounding pharmacy, which is different from the regular medical suppliers that usually send items to the house. This catches Elena's attention because such deliveries usually go through the medical team or are at least recorded in the logs. But this one does not follow the normal path. Victoria accepts the package and does not involve anyone else. She carries it herself toward the area where Margaret stays. Elena doesn't follow her, but watches from a distance, making note of the time and what she saw. The situation seems unusual to her, especially since no one from the medical team appears to be aware of the delivery. Later, Eleanor goes to Margaret's room to continue with her usual tasks. When she arrives, she sees that Victoria has already been there and has left. On the tray where Margaret's daily vitamins and medications are organized, Elena spots a new item. It's an amber bottle with a dropper cap, placed neatly among the other supplements. The bottle is small and does not have a hospital label like the others. It clearly came from the delivery Victoria received earlier. Elena picks up the tray as usual, preparing to take away the used items and bring fresh water or other supplies. As she removes the empty cups, she notices something odd. One of the glasses has a white residue at the bottom, like a powder that was not fully dissolved. Along with this, there is a smell that seems different, something chemical, not like any of the regular medications or supplements she knows. She doesn't say anything right away, but these details stand out to her. She continues cleaning up, quietly thinking about what she saw. While Elena continues her work, she finds a moment to discreetly check the label on the new bottle. She picks it up carefully when no one else is around and reads the small text. The name on the label is digoxin, which she recognizes from previous prescriptions. But there is something wrong. The concentration listed on the bottle does not match the doses Margaret used to receive. It is stronger. Elena knows this because she has seen the original prescriptions before while helping the medical team. She is not a pharmacist or doctor, but she has handled these medications for a long time and remembers the numbers. This new dosage seems much higher than what was ever approved for Margaret. She also knows that digoxin is a powerful medication and must be given in exact amounts. Even a small mistake can cause serious problems. What worries her even more is that this bottle does not appear in any of the medical records she has seen. It's like it does not officially exist. Elena wants to make sure she is not misunderstanding the situation. She looks again at the official logs and medication charts kept by the nurses and doctors. Nowhere does it mention this new digoxin bottle. There are no notes about a new prescription, no changes in dosage, and no doctor's signature approving anything different. All the listed medications match the previous routine. The new bottle is not on any list. This confirms her concern that something is not right. Elena knows she cannot just ignore this, but she also knows she has to be careful. She decides to speak directly with Victoria to ask about the new medication. Elena finds a moment when Victoria is alone and calmly brings up the topic. She asks about the bottle and says that it is not listed in the medical records. She tries to keep her tone neutral, only asking for clarification. She hopes Victoria will explain everything clearly or show a new prescription, but the response she gets is unexpected and firm. Victoria does not explain the prescription or show any paperwork. Instead, she tells Elena that everything has been authorized by outside doctors and that she does not need to worry about it. Victoria's voice is calm but direct. She makes it clear that Elena's job is to follow the routine that has been set and not to ask questions about changes. Elena is told to keep doing her tasks as usual, serving the supplements, organizing trays, and recording times, without interfering. The message is polite on the surface, but leaves no room for discussion. Elena nods and says nothing more, but she feels uncomfortable. She has been working in this house for almost a year and has never seen a situation like this. Even when other changes happened, they were usually explained or documented. This time, there is no trace of the medication in the official system, and no doctor has spoken to her or the medical team about it. After this conversation, Elena returns to her routine, but she becomes even more careful with what she observes. She continues to handle Margaret's care with the same attention as before, but now she also watches closely every time the amber bottle is used. She notices when it is added to the tray and how Margaret reacts afterward. She keeps mental notes and compares them with what she sees on the monitors. The white residue and the strange smell still stay in her memory. Even though Victoria told her not to question anything, Elena cannot ignore what she has seen. She doesn't argue or bring it up again, but she stays alert. She knows that something important might be happening, even if no one else is talking about it. For now, she decides to stay quiet and wait, but she keeps watching everything, every detail, every dose, and every sign that could help her understand what's really going on with Margaret's condition. 3 days later, the situation with Margaret changes suddenly and clearly for the worse. The morning follows the usual routine, with her supplements prepared and given as they have been in recent days. Not long after receiving them, Margaret begins to show strong signs of distress. Her heart rate becomes irregular again, but this time it is more severe than before. The monitors show unstable readings, and her blood pressure drops very quickly to dangerous levels. The change is fast and alarming, leaving little doubt that something serious is happening. The calm structure of the medical wing is replaced by urgency. Nurses call for help, and alarms from the machines draw attention to her condition. Margaret appears weaker, less responsive, and clearly unstable. This is not a slow decline, but a sudden episode that demands immediate action. Everyone present understands that the situation has reached a critical point and cannot be managed with routine care alone. Richard is alerted right away and reacts without hesitation. Seeing his mother's condition worsen so quickly, he contacts emergency services immediately. He demands full medical support inside the residence, refusing to risk any delay. Soon, the atmosphere inside the house changes completely. Doctors and medical staff begin working without interruption, moving quickly between Margaret's bedside, the equipment, and the temporary work areas set up in the residence. The home effectively becomes a full-time medical unit. Phones ring, instructions are given, and new specialists are contacted. Richard stays close, asking questions and authorizing whatever is necessary. His concern is clear, and so is his determination to do everything possible. The doctors focus on stabilizing Margaret while also trying to understand why her condition keeps worsening. They know this episode is more intense than previous ones, and that makes it more troubling. Nothing about this decline seems random anymore. As the medical team works, they begin ordering a new round of exams. Blood tests, heart monitoring, and other evaluations are requested again, even though many similar tests were done before. The doctors discuss possible explanations among themselves. Some consider the idea of progressive heart failure, thinking Margaret's heart may simply be getting weaker over time. Others raise the possibility of adverse reactions to medications or supplements, especially since her symptoms appear suddenly and intensely. The discussion remains professional, but serious. No clear answer stands out. The results they receive do not fully support one single cause. Still, the idea of a reaction to something she is taking becomes harder to ignore. The timing of the episode is troubling, but without clear proof, the doctors continue exploring every option. Their goal is to keep Margaret alive and stable while they search for an explanation that fits the pattern of her decline. Victoria stays present during this intense moment. Remaining close to the medical team, she presents herself as helpful and organized, providing the doctors with a printed list of medications that are allowed for Margaret. The list looks official and neatly prepared. She explains that these are the items approved for use, implying that everything being given is under control. The doctors review the list as part of their process, trusting that it reflects the current routine. Elena watches this interaction quietly from a short distance. She notices how Victoria positions herself between the doctors and the medication trays. While everyone is focused on the monitors and charts, Victoria moves calmly, but with purpose. Elena's attention sharpens, especially because she has seen similar situations before. She does not interrupt or speak, but she watches closely, aware that small actions in moments like this can matter a great deal. While the doctors prepare to review the medications more carefully, Elena sees something that immediately concerns her. Victoria discreetly removes the amber bottle from the supplement tray. The movement is subtle and quick, done before any doctor can inspect the full set of items being given to Margaret. The bottle disappears from view, and no one else seems to notice. Elena feels a strong sense of alarm, but remains silent. She understands exactly what that bottle is and why its removal matters. This is the same bottle she questioned before, the one not listed in the medical records. The timing of its removal feels intentional. Elena keeps her expression neutral, knowing that drawing attention now could cause conflict or suspicion. Still, she stores the moment clearly in her memory. The absence of the bottle during the review means the doctors will not see everything Margaret was given earlier that morning. Not long after, Margaret's condition worsens again. The monitors show another decline, with unstable heart rhythm and falling blood pressure. The doctors respond immediately, adjusting treatment and continuing their efforts to stabilize her. Elena watches the clock and recognizes something familiar. The time between the supplements being given and the decline in vital signs matches what she has seen in earlier episodes. This same interval has repeated itself before, always after the same type of supplement was administered. In her mind, the pattern is now clear and undeniable. While the doctors continue searching for answers through tests and theories, Elena confirms what she has suspected for some time. The connection exists, even if it has not been officially acknowledged. She does not say anything yet, but she knows with certainty that what she is seeing is not a coincidence. The pattern has repeated too many times to be ignored. During the early hours of the night, the medical team speaks directly with Richard about Margaret's condition. They explain that her instability cannot be understood without a more invasive procedure. The doctors are calm, but clear that waiting longer could be dangerous. Richard listens closely and asks practical questions about risks and timing. He agrees that action is needed. Soon after, equipment is brought into the residence and arranged carefully. Monitors, sterile tools, and support devices are prepared step by step. Forms are printed and reviewed. Richard signs the required authorizations without hesitation, trusting the team to do what is necessary. The atmosphere is serious and focused. Everyone moves with purpose, aware that the procedure may provide answers. Margaret remains under constant observation while preparations continue. Her condition is fragile, and the staff works quietly to avoid delays. Nothing about the moment feels routine, and the tension is visible on every face as morning slowly approaches inside the guarded residence. While the doctors focus on preparations, Eleanor remains nearby, observing everything. She notices that Victoria moves with confidence through the room, even during the tense hours. At one point, Elena clearly sees Victoria place the amber bottle back onto the supplement tray. When questioned, Victoria states that the routine cannot be interrupted even now. Elena feels uneasy, but stays composed. She remembers the earlier episodes and the timing connected to the bottle. The decision to continue the routine worries her deeply. Elena watches the tray closely, noting how the bottle sits among the other items. Nothing about it looks official. The timing feels wrong. Elena understands that once the procedure begins, Margaret will be sedated and unable to react. That thought increases her concern. She realizes that if the substance is given again, the same reaction could occur. The situation forces Elena to pay attention to every small movement during these critical moments inside the quiet medical wing of Night. Elena takes a closer look at the bottle when she has a brief moment alone. She compares the label with older prescriptions she has seen before. The name digoxin stands out immediately, as does the dosage listed below it. Elena is certain that this concentration was never approved for Margaret. She confirms this by recalling the medical charts and past instructions. The information does not match. This confirmation makes the situation more serious in her mind. Elena knows she cannot ignore this detail anymore. She looks around and sees the medical staff fully occupied with equipment and preparation. No one is available to listen. Voices overlap, instructions are given, and the focus remains on the upcoming procedure. Elena feels trapped between her role and what she believes is right. She considers speaking louder, but understands she may be dismissed. The pressure builds as time passes. She realizes that the moment to act is slipping away quickly before it disappears completely. As the night continues, Elena understands that verbal warnings are not working. The doctors remain focused on the invasive procedure, and their attention cannot be redirected. She sees that Margaret will soon be sedated. That fact changes everything for Elena. She knows that once sedation begins, Margaret will be exposed again if the bottle stays on the tray. Elena feels responsible because she sees the pattern clearly. She makes a decision without announcing it. With controlled movements, she approaches the tray during a brief distraction. Her actions are quick but careful. She lifts the amber bottle and removes it without drawing attention. No alarms sound, and no one notices. Elena's heart races, but her face stays neutral. She does not look at anyone. She understands the risk of acting alone, but believes the risk of doing nothing is greater. The moment is quiet, but the choice is final as events continue unfolding rapidly around her inside the medical area nearby. Elena quickly hides the bottle inside the pocket of her uniform. The movement is small but deliberate. She checks to make sure it cannot be seen from the outside. Her hands remain steady despite the stress. She stays close to the wall, blending back into her role. No one questions her presence because she belongs there. The medical team continues preparing for the procedure without noticing the change. Elena does not feel relief, only urgency. She knows she has removed the immediate risk, but the situation is not resolved. The bottle is now with her, and that responsibility weighs heavily. She thinks about the earlier episodes and how close Margaret came to serious harm. Elena understands that her action may have consequences, but she accepts that. She believes this was necessary. The goal is simple in her mind. Stop further exposure before sedation occurs. Everything else becomes secondary as the doctors continue working through the tense night ahead of them. Unable to stop the situation with words, Elena accepts that action was her only option. She stays silent and returns to her duties, keeping her posture calm. Inside, she remains alert, listening to every sound and instruction. She watches the doctors move closer to beginning the procedure. Time feels limited, and she knows she acted just in time. The absence of the bottle is unnoticed, which confirms her belief that no one was tracking it officially. Elena does not celebrate the moment. She simply focuses on staying unnoticed. Her decision was made to protect Margaret before sedation and before another dose could be given. She does not know what will happen next, but she knows what already happened cannot be undone. The bottle remains hidden, and the routine has been interrupted, even if no one else realizes it yet. Elena stands quietly, waiting, aware that this moment may change everything inside the guarded residence during the critical early morning hours. Elena enters the clinical wing without formal authorization. knowing that this area is restricted during critical moments. Her sudden appearance immediately draws attention from the security team stationed nearby. They look at her with concern, aware that access is controlled and that the medical staff is already under pressure. Elena does not stop or explain herself at first. She moves quickly toward Margaret's room, focused only on what she believes is about to happen. Inside the room, the situation is tense. Medical equipment surrounds Margaret, and preparations for the upcoming procedure are still underway. Elena's presence is unexpected, and several people turn to look at her. The atmosphere shifts as security follows closely behind her. Elena ignores the looks and steps forward, her attention fixed on Margaret and the tray beside the bed. She knows she may face consequences, but she believes that entering the room at this moment is necessary. Inside the room, Elena immediately sees Victoria standing close to Margaret. Victoria is holding the dropper, tilting it toward Margaret's mouth. The amber bottle is nearby, placed as if it belongs there. This confirms Elena's fear that the substance is about to be administered again. Without hesitation, Elena steps forward and grabs Victoria's arm, stopping the movement. At the same time, she pushes the tray away from the bed, creating distance between Margaret and the medication. Her actions are direct but controlled. Elena speaks clearly, stating that the medication is not listed in the medical chart and has no authorization. The room becomes silent for a brief moment as everyone processes what is happening. Victoria looks shocked and angry, while the medical staff reacts with confusion. Eleanor does not raise her voice, but her words are firm. She stands her ground, focused only on preventing the medication from being given. A doctor immediately reacts to the situation. He raises his voice and orders Elena to leave the room at once. He states that she has no authority to interfere with medical care. Security responds quickly. Two guards move in and restrain Elena, holding her arms and preventing her from moving closer to the bed. Elena does not resist physically, but she continues speaking, trying to explain. Richard, who is present, demands to know what is happening. He looks between Elena and Victoria, clearly confused and alarmed. Victoria responds first, accusing Elena of improper interference and claiming that her behavior is dangerous and inappropriate. She insists that everything has been approved and that Elena has crossed a serious line. The tension in the room increases as voices overlap. Elena is held firmly by security while the doctors attempt to regain control of the situation. Despite being restrained, Elena continues to speak. She asks to be heard and manages to pull the amber bottle from her pocket. She shows it to Richard and the nearby doctors. She explains that the medication is digoxin and that the dosage does not match any authorized prescription. Elena then lists the exact times when Margaret's blood pressure dropped in previous days. She explains that each episode followed the same interval after the supplement was given. Her voice remains steady even as she is being held. She is not guessing or accusing blindly. She is presenting specific details she has observed and recorded. Some members of the medical team pause and listen, but others remain focused on the procedure. Victoria repeats that Elena is mistaken and insists that external authorization exists. The disagreement remains unresolved as the room stays tense and divided. Even after presenting the bottle and the timing of the episodes, Eleanor is not released. Security begins escorting her toward the exit of the room. Richard looks conflicted, but does not stop them. The doctor repeats that the priority is Margaret's condition and that the procedure must continue. Elena continues to speak as she is moved away, repeating that the medication is not in the records. Her words fade as the distance increases. Once she is outside the room, the door is closed behind her. The sounds of medical equipment and voices continue inside without her. Elena stands restrained in the hallway, knowing she has done everything she could in that moment. She feels frustration, but also certainty about what she saw. The room remains sealed, and she is no longer able to intervene directly. Inside the room, the doctors resume their preparations for the invasive procedure. The interruption is treated as a disturbance, and the focus returns to medical tasks. Equipment is checked again, and instructions are given. Margaret remains in bed, unstable and closely monitored. Her vital signs continue to fluctuate, showing that her condition is still critical. Victoria stays near the medical team, maintaining her position. The amber bottle is no longer in Elena's possession, but the issue surrounding it remains unresolved. Outside the room, Elena is held by security, separated from Margaret and the doctors. She knows that despite being removed, she has revealed important information. Whether it will be taken seriously or not is now out of her control. The procedure moves forward while Margaret remains fragile, and the situation remains uncertain for everyone involved. In the hallway outside the room, Elena makes a quick and deliberate decision. While being watched by security, she lets the amber bottle fall from her hand on purpose. The sound draws attention for a brief moment, causing confusion among the people nearby. Some look down at the bottle, others react to the sudden movement. Elena uses this short distraction to act. She pulls free just enough to move back toward Margaret's room. No one expects her to turn back so quickly. She enters the room again before security can fully react. Her movements are fast, but focused. She does not speak. She goes directly to Margaret, knowing that time is limited. The situation is tense, but Elena is driven by urgency. She understands that this may be her last chance to act before Margaret is exposed to more risk. Everything happens within seconds, and the room shifts again into chaos as Elena takes control of the moment. Once inside, Elena pushes Margaret's wheelchair away from the bed. She moves her quickly but carefully toward the attached bathroom. The equipment and staff around do not stop her in time. Elena closes the bathroom door firmly behind them, creating a barrier. Inside the small space, the environment is quiet compared to the room outside. Margaret is weak, barely responsive, and breathing shallowly. Elena places her near the sink and looks around quickly, searching for anything that can help. She knows this bathroom is used by the medical staff for emergencies. On the counter, she spots several packets of activated charcoal. She recognizes them immediately. They are used for gastrointestinal emergencies and are kept for situations involving ingestion of harmful substances. Elena does not hesitate. She opens the packets and prepares to use them, fully aware that this is an emergency action and not part of any routine care. Elena works quickly, mixing the charcoal powder with water from the sink. She stirs it until it forms a drinkable mixture. Margaret's breathing remains shallow and her eyes are barely open. Elena speaks to her softly but clearly, encouraging her to swallow. She gives small amounts at a time, being careful not to overwhelm her. Elena supports Margaret's head and ensures that the mixture goes into her mouth safely. Every second matters. Outside the bathroom, voices grow louder. Security is shouting orders, and the sound of force against the door becomes stronger. Elena continues administering the charcoal in small doses, focused entirely on Margaret. Her hands are steady despite the pressure. She watches Margaret's breathing closely, ready to stop if necessary. This action is risky, but Elena believes it is the only option left to counter what she suspects is medication intoxication. She continues until she hears the door begin to break. The bathroom door is forced open by security. Guards rush in and immediately move toward Elena. They pull her away from Margaret and force her down to the floor. Elena does not fight back. She allows herself to be restrained, knowing she has already done what she could. Margaret remains seated, the charcoal mixture visible around her mouth. A doctor enters quickly and reacts with concern. He tries to remove the substance from Margaret's mouth, fearing aspiration or further complications. The situation is tense and loud, with multiple voices speaking at once. Eleanor stays on the floor, restrained, watching closely. She wants to explain, but has no chance. The doctor's instinct is to undo what Elena did, but the moment is interrupted by another voice in the room. The cardiologist steps forward and takes control of the situation with authority. The cardiologist orders immediate monitoring instead of further interference. She instructs the team to check heart rhythm and oxygen levels before making any more changes. The monitors are adjusted and attention shifts back to the machines. Slowly, the readings begin to change. Margaret's heart rhythm starts to show signs of stabilization. The irregular pattern becomes more controlled. Her oxygen saturation also begins to improve, rising gradually instead of falling. The room becomes quieter as the team focuses on the screens. The doctor who tried to remove the charcoal stops and steps back. The cardiologist continues giving instructions, prioritizing observation over action. Elena remains restrained on the floor, watching silently. She sees the numbers improve and feels a sense of relief. Even though she is not acknowledged, the change is clear and measurable, and it affects the entire atmosphere in the room. As Margaret's condition stabilizes, the medical team reassesses their plan. The invasive procedure is put on hold. The urgency shifts from investigation to treatment. The doctors discuss the possibility of medication intoxication, now supported by the improvement seen after the charcoal was given. A formal intoxication protocol is started. This includes close monitoring, supportive care, and further tests focused on drug exposure rather than organ failure. The tone of the room changes from confrontation to analysis. Elena is still held by security, but no one orders her removed again at this moment. The focus is entirely on Margaret's recovery. The immediate danger seems reduced. The cardiologist continues to monitor the progress, confirming that the stabilization is not temporary. The situation is still serious, but now it is controlled. Elena remains silent, exhausted, and aware that her actions have changed the course of events, even if the consequences for her are still unknown. In the hours that follow the incident, Margaret remains in the clinical wing under constant observation. The medical team sets up intensive monitoring equipment around her, checking her vital signs every few minutes. They adjust the machines to track her heart rate, oxygen saturation, and blood pressure. As time passes, her numbers begin to show slow but steady signs of improvement. The irregular heart rhythm starts to settle into a more stable pattern. Her oxygen levels also begin to rise, though her breathing is still weak. The team watches carefully, aware that any sudden change could signal danger. Meanwhile, samples are collected from the small amber bottle, the cups used earlier, and directly from Margaret's blood. These are sent immediately for toxicology testing. The doctors want to confirm what substance caused her condition. Everyone is focused on the data coming in. The room is quiet, except for the sounds of the machines and the low voices of the medical staff, reporting each update as it happens. Outside the patient room, Elena is seated in the hallway. She is not restrained, but two security guards are positioned nearby to make sure she doesn't move or speak to anyone unless asked. She sits calmly, her uniform slightly wrinkled from earlier events. Although she is under supervision, no one is treating her as a criminal at this moment. She has not been arrested or formally accused, but she is clearly being kept under control. Elena's eyes remain fixed on the door to Margaret's room. She does not try to explain herself again for now. Her focus is on Margaret's condition and the hope that the treatment continues to work. Richard walks past her once, stopping briefly. He looks at her without speaking, then walks away toward the group of doctors. He has already given clear instructions to the medical team and to security. Nothing is to be removed from the area until all the facts are confirmed. Every item involved must stay for investigation. Inside the medical room, the team receives initial feedback from the toxicology lab. The early results confirm what Elena suspected. There are clear signs of digoxin in Margaret's system, and the levels are much higher than what would be expected from a standard dose. This aligns with the observations and with the unusual concentration noted on the amber bottle's label. The information confirms that the patient's symptoms, irregular heartbeat, low blood pressure, and mental confusion, are consistent with digoxin toxicity. Based on this, the team immediately requests the specific antidote used to treat this kind of overdose. A nurse prepares the necessary medications, and the doctors continue supporting Margaret's vital functions while waiting for the antidote to arrive. The situation remains serious, but there is now a clear direction for treatment. Every step taken is recorded in detail in Margaret's medical file. The timestamps and events reported by Eleanor are also included in the chart. The doctors decide to treat this as a toxic exposure case. Meanwhile, Victoria is asked to remain in another part of the house, away from the medical area. Security personnel explain that her access is being temporarily restricted while the situation is being reviewed. Victoria does not resist, but is clearly unhappy about the decision. She hands over her mobile phone to internal security staff for examination, as requested. They will review recent messages, calls, and any communication related to medications or deliveries. The medical and security teams want to verify if there is any connection between her actions and the unapproved use of the digoxin. Everything must be documented clearly, especially with such a high-risk patient involved. Victoria is told that the restriction is not permanent, but it will remain in place while lab results continue and the investigation is ongoing. She walks away calmly, but without her usual confidence. For the time being, she is not allowed to return to the medical wing or interfere with patient care decisions. Back in the hallway, Elena is informed that her reports and time logs are now being added to the official record. Her detailed notes about the timing of the supplements and the following health episodes are being taken seriously. Doctors review the information and see that her observations match the drops in Margaret's vital signs recorded on the machines. This connection strengthens the conclusion that the problem was caused by the medication. Elena remains silent during this process. She does not demand credit or express frustration. Her concern has always been focused on Margaret's safety. The doctors and Richard begin to look at her differently, recognizing that her actions may have helped prevent a much worse outcome. Still, the situation is sensitive. The medical team continues their work with caution. Margaret is not fully stable yet, but the response to treatment is positive. Everyone understands that the next few hours will be critical to her recovery. As the antidote is administered, Margaret's condition begins to show more promising signs. Her blood pressure slowly rises to safer levels. Her heart rhythm becomes more regular and stays consistent. The oxygen saturation continues to improve. The machines beep at a more normal pace now, and the tension in the room begins to ease slightly. The invasive procedure that had been planned earlier is officially cancelled. There is no longer a need to go forward with it, now that the likely cause of her condition has been identified and addressed. A new treatment plan is started, focused on detoxification and recovery. The doctors continue to monitor her closely, but they now have more control over the situation. Everyone in the room works quietly and efficiently, focused on Margaret's progress. No one knows yet what the final outcome will be, but for the first time in days, there is clear hope that she will recover. Elena remains seated outside, still under watch, but now part of the reason things are finally turning around. As the sun rises, a new phase of the situation begins. Private investigators hired directly by Richard arrive at the property early in the morning to begin a formal investigation. Their task is to collect and verify all the available information related to the events of the past few days. These investigators begin by reviewing the footage from the security cameras around the residence, focusing especially on the side entrances, service areas, and the private medical wing. They carefully analyzed the exact times when Victoria was seen receiving a package and when she entered and exited the medical area. In addition to video footage, they also collect bank statements, delivery records, and pharmacy receipts. They work quickly and efficiently, piecing together each detail. It doesn't take long for them to confirm that Victoria personally ordered and paid for the digoxin without any connection to the official medical team. The documentation clearly shows her involvement in acquiring the drug independently, outside of the medical system authorized for Margaret's care. While the investigators continue their review, the toxicology lab sends its final reports. The results leave no doubt. The concentration of digoxin found in the amber bottle is much higher than the safe dosage. The label confirms the substance, and the numbers prove that it was far stronger than anything Margaret had ever been prescribed before. In Margaret's blood, the same substance is detected at levels that match the kind of symptoms she experienced: irregular heartbeat, low blood pressure, and confusion. These findings line up perfectly with the timeline that Elena had documented. Based on this evidence, the case moves forward. The investigators immediately notify local authorities about the confirmed toxic exposure. In response, officials arrive at the estate and collect all physical evidence. They take the amber bottle, the cups used, and copies of the medical reports. Every item is sealed and logged carefully. The situation is now considered serious enough to move into a legal phase, and all procedures are followed with precision. Victoria is informed that she will be questioned regarding the incident. She is allowed to speak with her attorney, who arrives shortly after the authorities are contacted. Under supervision, she is escorted out of the main area of the house. The security team and investigators remain calm and professional, following strict guidelines. Victoria does not resist, but she shows visible tension as she walks away with her lawyer. The questioning will cover her actions, purchases, and involvement in Margaret's medical routine. At the same time, Richard takes swift and clear action. He officially ends the engagement. There is no discussion, no further conversation. He revokes all of Victoria's access to the property, including her entry codes, permissions, and privileges. From that moment forward, she is no longer allowed on the estate. Her name is removed from all household systems, and the staff is informed of the change immediately. Richard's decision is final, and it reflects the seriousness of the situation and the danger that had been brought into his mother's care. Inside the medical wing, Margaret continues to receive care. The full course of the antidote is administered as planned, and her body responds well. The doctors are encouraged by the continued stability in her vital signs. Her heart rate remains normal, her oxygen levels are strong, and she shows no signs of sudden drops or irregular patterns. The worst part of the crisis seems to be over, and the focus now is on helping her recover fully. The medical team adjusts her treatment plan to ensure ongoing support. They watch her closely to make sure there are no long-term effects from the overdose. For now, Margaret is stable, and the doctors express cautious optimism. Elena remains nearby, now with fewer restrictions. She is no longer being watched by guards, and she has returned to a more normal role, though with a different level of attention from those around her. Everyone involved understands that her actions played a part in preventing a more serious outcome. The investigation now moves into a new stage. With solid evidence from the toxicology reports, security footage, and financial documents, the case is referred to both criminal and civil legal authorities. Prosecutors begin reviewing the materials to determine the appropriate charges. The medical records, including the reports submitted by Elena and the doctors, are submitted as evidence. The legal team prepares to move forward with a case focused on unauthorized medical intervention and endangerment of a vulnerable person. Civil proceedings are also considered, given the damage caused to the household and the emotional stress placed on Richard and his mother. every detail is carefully organized and the legal process begins to take shape. The staff is informed that full cooperation with investigators and lawyers will be required in the coming weeks. Everyone remains on alert, knowing that the story is not yet over. The atmosphere in the house is quieter but tense, as the reality of what happened continues to unfold. As the day goes on, the household begins to settle into a new rhythm. Without Victoria present, the structure of the home changes. Orders are now given only by Richard or the medical professionals. Elena resumes her duties with a quiet focus, keeping her attention on Margaret and the treatment routines. The medical team continues working, now with greater control and clarity. They hold short meetings to confirm medication schedules and update charts. Margaret receives her meals, supplements and care without confusion or interruption. The cameras continue to record and security remains alert, but there is a sense of stability returning. Even though the investigation is still active and more interviews will take place, the immediate threat is gone. Richard spends time with his mother, sitting in silence or speaking with doctors. His focus is now completely on her recovery. Everyone involved continues their roles carefully, waiting to see what new information the legal process will bring, but hopeful that Margaret will soon regain her strength completely. 1 year later, Margaret is in a much different situation. She is no longer being treated in a private wing inside a mansion. Instead, she now receives care at the Whitmore Geriatric Care Center, a new facility that was created after the events of the previous year. The center is built as an independent space, separate from the main family residence, and it is also open to serve other members of the community. The environment is professional, organized, and built with the needs of elderly patients in mind. Everything is designed to support safety, comfort, and close monitoring of each patient. Margaret comes to the center for routine evaluations. Her condition has improved greatly, and she is able to move around with assistance. The staff is familiar with her medical history and gives her the attention she needs. During each visit, her vital signs are carefully checked, and she follows a set plan of light physical therapy and health assessments. Her sessions are calm and structured, always following strict safety guidelines. The care center itself works under a very clear set of rules. Medication protocols are especially strict. Every dose that is given to a patient is documented in detail, and all records are reviewed regularly. External audits are performed often to confirm that everything is being handled correctly. This means that no medication can be introduced without approval, and all changes in patient condition must be recorded immediately. These rules were created after the incident involving Margaret to make sure nothing like it happens again. The facility is also monitored with cameras in public areas, and a digital tracking system follows each treatment given. Staff members work under close supervision, and regular training is provided to make sure everyone understands their responsibilities. The center has become a model for elderly care, not just because of its resources, but because of the serious commitment to safety and transparency. These steps are all part of the long-term response to what happened before, and everyone involved takes it seriously. Elena now has a new role in this setting. She no longer works only as a caregiver. Over the past year, her position has changed. She is now the supervisor of all caregivers working at the center. Her job includes training new employees, helping them understand the correct procedures for documenting medication administration, and teaching how to identify and report clinical changes. Elena's experience with Margaret gave her valuable knowledge that she now shares with others. She reminds her team about the importance of paying attention to small details and encourages them to speak up if something seems wrong. Elena leads by example and is respected by the staff for her calm and steady presence. She makes sure that every caregiver follows the protocol. She checks their reports, answers questions, and supports them in their daily tasks. Her work is key to maintaining the quality of care at the center. Although she works in a leadership role now, she continues to focus on the well-being of the patients, just as she did before. Richard remains connected to the center, but from a distance. He is the person who funded its creation. Without his financial support, the facility would not exist. However, he made a decision not to be involved in the medical or administrative decisions. He does not interfere with the day-to-day operations, and he does not direct the medical staff. His role is limited to financial backing. Richard understands that the best way to support the center is by giving resources while leaving medical decisions to professionals. He visits from time to time, mostly for meetings or general updates, but he does not take part in patient care. His focus has shifted over the past year. After everything that happened, he trusts the team now in place to handle things properly. He is satisfied with how Margaret is being cared for and respects the structure that has been built. He still carries the weight of the past, but chooses to contribute in a way that helps others avoid the same risks. At the center, an official report was recently published. It covers the past year and includes an institutional overview of the events that led to the creation of the facility. The report explains in detail the case of medication intoxication that occurred with Margaret, outlining how the incident was detected, how it was managed, and what preventive steps were taken afterward. This report is used for training and awareness inside the center. It helps new staff understand the importance of following procedure, and it also serves as a reminder of what can go wrong when protocols are ignored. The document includes anonymized sections, but leaves no doubt about the seriousness of the event. It also describes how Eleanor's attention and action helped avoid a worse outcome. The report is part of the center's transparency policy, showing that lessons were learned and applied. It helps create a culture where staff are encouraged to report problems early, and where safety is always the top priority in every medical decision. Victoria is not part of this new environment. She is currently responding to ongoing legal proceedings. The process has taken time, and while there is no final ruling yet, she remains under legal restrictions. She is not allowed to contact anyone involved in the case, and her access to medical environments has been suspended. Her actions are under review in both civil and criminal courts. The investigation continues with the help of documents, reports, and witness statements collected over the past year. Her future remains uncertain, and updates about her case are handled by the legal system. Back at the center, none of the staff speak about her, and her name is not mentioned in daily routines. The focus is now fully on patient care and recovery. In the rehabilitation room, Margaret completes her supervised exercises for the day. Her movements are slow but steady. After the session, she is taken back to her room with all vital signs within normal range. The daily follow-up is recorded, and her care continues according to protocol. Finally, we've reached the end of this story, and if you want to know how this story ends and how the maid will get her revenge, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment below if you want to see part 2 of this story. Until next time.